So this is the third chapter, data and signals of data communications and networking. As we know that this is the fourth edition slides by Mr. Chen. So let us start. First is to be transmitted. Data must be transformed to electromagnetic signals. Means when you open a text file in your system, you see some text. When you tune to FM, you listen to song. All these data which is coming, these are electromagnetic signals somewhere. So data needs to be first transformed into signals, then only they can be transmitted. For anything to be transmitted, they needs to be transformed into electromagnetic signals. Electromagnetic signals, electro and magnetic, there are two things which are involved in these signals. We'll see about that. Analog and digital. So you need to know, when we are talking about signals, what is analog and what is digital. What is the difference between analog and digital? You might have seen, let me show you first, that for a layman or for a new observer, this kind of signal is assumed to be an analog signal, and this kind of signal is assumed to be a digital for just a new person. But we'll go into the detail why this is analog, why this is digital, and how we can get analog to digital and digital to analog, because this conversion will be there. Sometimes analog is for decades, digital has just few decades, and now everything is digital. Okay. So as I indicated, data can be in the form of analog or digital. The term analog data means information that is continuous, like a sinusoidal wave. Digital refers to data information that has discrete states. It is not continuous, but you will get some discrete states. Analog data take on continuous values like this. Digital data takes on discrete values. This is the analog and digital difference. Then we'll be discussing about the data, of course, the signals, and periodic and non-periodic signals. So data can be analog or digital. Analog data continuous, takes continuous values. Digital data have discrete values and discrete states also, either 1 or 0, either 1 or 0. Here, if you just consider sine theta, for every theta there will be a sine value. Okay, so it will be I'm not saying that only sine is a signal, but I'm just giving you an example that if you consider sine wave as a signal, for every theta you will get some or the other value of sine theta. There will be no discrete, like for some 0 it will be there, some 90 it will be there, for 45 also it will be there, for 42 it will be there, for 89 it will be there. Sin 89 will give you some value. So it will be a continuous value for each and every angle of theta you will give. So signals, they can be analog or digital. Analog signals can have infinite number of values in a range. As I just suggested, you will get in this range, there will be no discontinuity. While digital signals, they can have only limited values or limited number of values. For example, a digital image, if it is an 8-bit image, it can take value from 0 to 255. There will be no other value. 0 to 255, these are discrete digital values. So this is the comparison of analog and digital signals. These are analog signals. The waveform can change. This is not, there is no prescribed waveform for an analog signal. It can take any shape. Even this is an analog signal. Even this is an analog signal, and even a continuous nice shape is also an analog signal. So this is time with respect to the value. It will have some amplitude. It will have some frequency. It will have some phase, phi. Analog signal will have all these. Digital signal will have either, this is plateau, means constant. So either it will be 1 or it will be 0. This either will be 0 or 1. Okay, so there will be discrete values, digital signals. So in data communications, we commonly use periodic analog signals and non-periodic digital signals. Please let me come again. Data communications, we commonly use periodic signals which are analog, while non-periodic digital signals we commonly use. So periodic analog signals, what are these periodic analog signals? Periodic means a period, or it will repeat itself after certain duration or time. This is period. It will follow a period. So a periodic analog signals, they can be classified as simple or composite. A simple periodic analog signal, like a sine wave I just indicated, which will follow some sine theta rule. It can have an amplitude in front of it. It can have some phase. It can have sine omega t or sine, or say 2 pi ft plus phi. So a sine 2 pi ft plus phi. This is an analog signal, which will be dependent on the sine angles. So this a simple periodic analog signal, a sine wave, cannot be decomposed into simpler signals, but a composite periodic analog signal is composed of multiple sine waves. For example, if this is a sine wave, you can have a sine wave like this. So it is composed of more sine waves, not one. So this is called as composite sine waves. So you'll see the sine wave, wavelength, time and frequency domain, composite signals, and the bandwidth. This is a sine wave. I know you are aware of sine wave, sine theta. You place value. Sine 0 is 0. Sine 90 is 1. Again, see 0, and this is up to 2 pi. Okay, this is pi. This is 2 pi. This is pi by 2. This is 3 pi by 2. Right? So this is, you can say 1.5 pi by 2. This is a complete portion, one portion of this signal, and there are multiple sine waves. They are periodic and they are moving in a fine, clean sine wave form. So a sine wave is a analog signal. So we discuss our mathematical approach, sine waves. It is seen, we'll see more in detail in the later session, but first of all, we have to see the question. A power in your house can be represented by a sine wave with a peak amplitude of 155. So here the amplitude is given as 155. This is the volt. However, it is common knowledge that the voltage of the power in United States home is 110 to 120 volt. This discrepancy is due to the fact that these are RMS, or root mean square values. The signal is squared and then the average amplitude is calculated. Now the signal is squared and the average amplitude is calculated. The peak value is equal to under root 2, this is 2 to the power half, that is under root 2 RMS value. Okay. So this is just an example which I can tell you that this is not a question, this is an example. Or you can say a fact that you have represented a sine wave. You can say that our signal is coming, it is of amplitude 155, and this peak amplitude goes from 155 to 170, but it comes from the voltage is common knowledge that it is from 110 to 120. So why is this discrepancy? Why this value and this value has different values? They are different, and we suggested that the discrepancy is because of RMS. The signal is squared and then the average amplitude is calculated, and the peak value will be the under root 2 of RMS. Okay. So two signals with same phase and frequency, you can see here, but they have different amplitudes. This is the amplitude. This is the amplitude. So in these two cases, this is a signal with high peak amplitude, though they both have same phase. They have both same phase and the frequency is also same. See, if I draw a line here, this wave have same frequency. Frequency is the number of cycles per second, which is given in hertz. Phase is the angle. If I take one more sine wave, so the difference of these two will be our phase. The difference of two waves is phase, given in angle, frequency in hertz. Amplitude is the peak. Okay, and this is from here to here. We call it as a wavelength lambda. So let us take one more assertion. Voltage of a battery is constant. This constant value can be considered a sine wave, as you'll see. For example, the peak value of AA battery, AA battery, is 1.5 volt, right? So frequency and period are the inverse of each other. That means period is equal to 1 by f. Whatever be the frequency, it will be inverse of the period. So frequency, so let us take period. Period is in time, that is, say it is in second. Okay. Then the frequency will be 1 by p, that will be 1 by second or 1 by time. And this 1 by time is nothing but the hertz. Hertz. Frequency is number of cycles per second. Number of cycles per second. Cycles per second. Period is the inverse of frequency, which is given by p is equal to 1 by frequency. Right? So if frequency is number of cycles per second, so second will come above, period will be given in the second. Period will have the unit as second. Frequency 1 by second, that is hertz. F is equal to 1 by t and t is equal to 1 by f. So they are inversely related, frequency and period. In these two instances of figures, there are two signals. They have same amplitude. See, the amplitude is same. The phase is also same. There is no phase difference. But they have different frequencies. Frequency means number of cycles per second. If from this point to this point, we say this is 1 second. So how many cycles are there? How many cycles? There are 12 periods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can consider this and you can just compute it. This is 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12, in 1 second there are 12 periods. This is 1 period. This is 1 period. So 1 period is this, right? Now in 1 period, if in 1 second you have 12 periods. So 12 period in 1 second, that means your frequency is 12 hertz. 12 hertz. How many periods in 1 second? That will be the frequency. So the frequency of the signal is 12 hertz. And the period is 1 by 12. Because if frequency is 12, what is period? 1 by frequency, and that will be 1 by 12. In this case, though the amplitudes are same and the phases are also same, there is no phase difference between these two signals. But how many periods are there? This is a complete one go is a complete. This is the complete period, a complete signal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. How many periods are there? 6 periods. So what will be the frequency? Because there are 6 periods in 1 second. How many cycles? You can also call it as a cycle. So this is 1 cycle. This is the start of another cycle. So how many cycles are there in 1 second? If from this point to this point, this is 1 second. This duration is 1 second of the time. So in 1 second there are 6 periods. So what will be the frequency? It will be 6 hertz. 6 hertz. And what will be the period? 1 by 6 second. Hertz is nothing but 1 by second. So hope you understand the relationship between frequency and the period. These are the units of period and frequency, because frequency is 1 by period is 1 by frequency. So second, it is equal to 1 second. Unit is hertz. 1 second means hertz. This is equal to 1 hertz. Millisecond. Milli means 10 to the power minus 3 ms. This will be equal to kilohertz. Micro, megahertz. Nano, gigahertz. Pico, terahertz. So the equivalent is this one. Tera goes to 10 to the power 12. We have this pico and tera. We normally deal with the kilohertz to megahertz. You'll see that most of our communication will be lying here. So you have to be very well versed with these numbers. Let us take one more statement. The power we use at home has a frequency of 60 hertz. 60 hertz means 60 cycles per second. 60 cycles per second. So the period of this sine wave can be determined as 1 by 60, of course, 1 by 60 second. So let us see. The frequency is 60, so time will be, or period will be 1 by 60. That is given by 0.0166, and that will be, we normally represent it in the milliseconds. So that will be 0.0166 into 10 to the power 3 milliseconds. So it will be 16.6 millisecond, right? You'll not write like this. This will be in terms of millisecond. Let us take one more example. Express a period of 100 millisecond in microsecond. And you know, milli and micro, how they are different with the power of 10 to the power minus 3. So we, from the table we have seen that 1 millisecond is equal to 10 to the power minus 3 second, and 1 microsecond is equal to 10 to the power 6 microsecond. 1 second is 10 to the power 6 microsecond. Milli is lower. Let me take it like this. Milli is 10 to the power minus 3 and micro is 10 to the power 6. 1 second is equal to 10 to the power 6 microsecond. So 100 millisecond, let us first convert millisecond into the second. So that will be 100 into 10 to the power minus 3 second. Now this is okay. Let us change second into microsecond. How many seconds are microsecond? 1 second is equal to 10 to the power 6 microsecond. So now these powers can be easily added. 1 minus 3 plus 6, and that will be 5. So it will be 10 to the power 5 microsecond. You have to see the table, learn it, and then just replace them here. A period of a signal is 100 millisecond. What is its frequency in kilohertz? This is period in millisecond. First we have to find the frequency. Frequency will be 1 by 100 millisecond. Okay, 1 by 100 millisecond. So let us change it. First of all, let us see what 100 millisecond will be in terms of seconds. You know, millisecond will be 10 to the power minus 3 second. So it will be 10 to the power minus second. 1, that is 1 by 10 second or 0.1 second. Frequency is what? 1 by t. T is what? 10 to the power minus 1. So this is 10 to the power minus 1 hertz. So this is 10 hertz. Now you have to represent it in the form of kilohertz. Hertz and kilohertz, how they are related? 1 hertz is equal to 10 to the power minus 3 kilohertz. Or this 1 kilohertz is equal to 1000 hertz. 1 kilohertz is equal to 1000 hertz. Or 1 hertz is equal to 10 to the power minus 3 kilohertz. So in hertz, we can represent it by 10 to the power minus 3 kilohertz. So we can add 1 and minus 3, that is minus 2. So it will be 10 to the power minus 2 kilohertz. So frequency is the rate of change with respect to time. Frequency is rate of change with respect to time, number of cycles per second, and change in a short span of time means high frequency. That means this is high frequency. Change over a long span of time means low frequency. This is low frequency. Okay. So if a signal does not change at all, its frequency will be 0. If it is like this, it is not changing at all, frequency is 0. If the signal changes instantaneously, its frequency is infinite. If you cannot predict, it is changing here every time. How can you define the frequency? There will be infinite number of changes. That will be your infinite one. So phase describes the position of the waveform related to 0. So as we said, this is phase is 0. If I start my signal from here, so this difference is the phase difference. This is the phase. Waveform related to the 0. There are 3 sine waves here with same amplitude and frequency but different phases. Say this is 0 degree. Now it has not started from 0 but it has started from here. How much is this? This is complete time t. This is t by 2, that is this is t by 2, and this will be t by 4. So this is t by 4, 90 degree. Here this is complete 0 to pi in radian, that is 180 degree, that is t by 2. This is the phase difference or phase. So a sine wave is offset 1 by 6 cycle with respect to 0. What is its phase in degrees and radians? Radians means you have to represent in pi, degrees means in degree. So you have a multiple of 180 by pi. We'll see. So we know that one complete cycle is nothing but 360 degree. So 1 by 6 cycle will be 1 by 6 into 360 degree, because this is given that 1 by 6 cycle. One cycle varies from 0 to 2 pi, that is nothing but 360 degree. So 1 by 6 of 360 degree will be 60 degree. And you want to convert it into the radian form. So just multiply 60 this degree, any degree by pi by 180, you will get it in radian. So 2 pi by 360 is nothing but pi by 180 only. That is pi by 3 radian, and pi by 3 radian is equal to 1.046 radian, right? These are the wavelength and period. A complete cycle, the distance from this point to this point is the wavelength. One wave, you forget about all this. This is just one wave. This wave, the length from here to here, this point to this point, is wavelength. So this is the transmission medium at say certain point t. This is the transmission at certain point t plus capital T. So at, you see the difference is one complete cycle. This is a difference of one complete wavelength, and the direction of propagation is here. So the time domain and frequency domain plot of a sine wave, this is very important, because there are various domains in which we can represent our signal. This is the time domain. First is the time domain. Second is the sine wave, which is represented in the frequency domain. In time domain, the graph is between the time and the amplitude, which we have been seeing from the start. Here you can see the peak values, that is say plus 5 volt or 5 volt. This is 5. This is the peak value. The frequency you can see is 6 in 1 second. So this is a sine wave in the time domain with peak value as 5 volt and frequency as 6 hertz, because there are 6 cycles in 1 second. If you want to represent this into frequency domain, why? Amplitude will remain in the y-axis, but now you want frequency on the x-axis. How you can represent this signal in the frequency domain? Here you can see that from 0 to 6, because this frequency is 6. So at 6 in the frequency domain, we have a peak of 5. Again, can you tell me where will be the second peak? If the frequency is 6, the second peak will be here. The third peak will be after the 6, 12, and then it will be around 18. So this will be your sine wave in the frequency domain. Again, the frequency will remain as 6. The peak value will remain as 5i, but the representation will change like this. A complete sine wave in the time domain can be represented by one single peak in the frequency domain, as you have just seen. One single spike. Let us see that a frequency domain is more compact and useful when we are dealing with more than one sine wave. We just saw one sine wave. But if we have multiple sine wave, we cannot represent, or it will be very difficult to decipher, find out which wave says what. But in frequency domain, we know that this is a peak of one sine wave, this is a peak of another sine wave. We can have one more sine wave. So let's see the figure, which shows 3 sine waves, each with different amplitudes and frequency, and this all can be represented by 3 spikes in the frequency domain. This is the figure. You have in different colors. You have three signals. One is this signal in blue. This is the time domain's representation of 3 sine waves. One sine wave I'm not shown, because you can understand it to be in blue. It is like this in blue. Okay, one more sine wave is there in blue. This is time domain representation of 3 sine waves. We have frequencies of 0. This is 0. So now we don't want to show like this. The frequency is 0. That means there is no change in the signal. So it was right, it was correct that the third signal will not be represented by a sine wave. It will only be represented by a straight line. Did you got that? I'm trying to explain that because the frequency of our first signal is 0, it is not going to change at all. It will be flat. So this first signal is flat. The frequency of the first signal is flat, 0. The other is 8, as you see the pink one, and the green one is having a frequency of 16. Say this is 1 second. This is not changing at all. So frequency is 0. This is changing for 8 times. So this is 8. The green one is changing for 16 times in 1 second. So we have frequency of 16. In this case, we represent in the frequency domain the first one by 15, because of course we know that the value, the frequency of this is or the amplitude is 15, so we can write 50. First one. Why this blue is represented at 0? Because the frequency of this signal, blue signal, is actually 0, but the frequency of the pink one is, or the red one, is 8. So at 8 will represent with amplitude. What is the amplitude? It is 10. And what is the frequency? Where is it? Where is the frequency? 8 at 8. And the green one, the frequency is 16. We will represent it at 16, but the amplitude will be only 5. This is how the time domain and frequency domain of the three sine waves can be represented. So a single frequency sine wave is not useful in data communication, as we have just seen. We need to send a composite signal, a signal made up of many simple sine waves. So we saw 3 signals, 1, 2, and then the third one. This is the composite example. According to Fourier analysis, any composite signal is a combination of simple sine waves with just different frequencies, amplitudes, and phases. Fourier analysis for time per width will be going to take it. If our composite signal, that is a combination of one and more, or two or more, signals, they are periodic. The decomposition gives a series of signals with discrete frequencies. If the composite signal is non-periodic, the decomposition gives a combination of sine waves with continuous frequencies. We'll show a figure, and this figure, let me show you the figure first. This is a figure, okay? Please observe it and tell you what is happening here. This figure shows a periodic composite signal with frequency f. So this type of signal is not typical of those found in our data communication. You can consider it to be a 3-alarm system, each with different frequencies. The analysis of this signal can give us a good understanding of how to decompose this signal. So here we have these 3 signals, 1, 2, and 3. So this is a composite signal, 3 signals. So now you see we can transform it into digital at any time. Okay. And if the frequencies are infinite, if we combine various infinite, not frequency but the signals, if we combine infinite signals, we'll get similar digital waveform. So decomposition of a composite periodic signal in the time of and frequency of domain. This is the amplitude, this is the time, amplitude and time. Whereas this is amplitude and time, this is frequency domain. So you want to decompose or decomposition of a composite signal in the time and frequency domain. Let it be frequency now. So frequency of first one is f, let it be f. Frequency of the second one is 3f, the other is 9f. So all are represented in one frequency form, f. So now this is the frequency domain decomposition of this composite signal. This is the time domain decomposition of the composite signal. So these were 3 signals for you, and this is the decomposition of these. This is the time domain decomposition, this is the frequency domain decomposition. So we'll see one more figure. Let us see first this figure. This is the time and frequency domain of non-periodic signal. Previous one was periodic, this is non-periodic. They don't follow a period like this. So now we'll see a non-periodic composite signal. It can be the signal created by a microphone or a telephone set when a word or two is pronounced. So in this case, the composite signal cannot be periodic. It will not follow any period. It will be aperiodic or non-periodic, because that implies that we are repeating the same words or words with exactly the same tone. Our tone is changing, our words are changing, so we'll get a non-periodic signal like this. So this is actual signals that you are able to see. You will not see signals like that which I just showed you. So this is the time domain and frequency domain of non-periodic signal. This is the amplitude, this is the time. Okay, this is the amplitude and time, and this is the frequency. So you'll see a range of frequency. Say this is f, this is up to 4 kilohertz. What is this? We'll talk about this 0 to 4 kilohertz. That is the bandwidth, and this is the frequency at one point, right? So this is the first aspect we have seen, and we'll be taking this data and signal because this is a very wide topic, and we'll be taking it in the next session and few sessions. Thank you so much. Take care.